are the color guards. I would say the Cincinnati Fire Department color guards are up front, and you have multiple agencies in the back. You can see, I'm guessing 6 to 8, 10. I can't count how many sets of flags you have there. So you have multiple color guards from all different departments assisting our department today, as you can see there. And then obviously the bagpipers, as we can hear in the background playing, probably several units of bagpipers here also.
And then the family will follow?
I believe the family follows right behind the bagpipers, that's correct. Well, I've been projecting roughly 800 firemen walking up through the church in this crowd. Retired Chief Wright.
Traditional bagpipes.
Yes, as you can see, there's multiple units right there.
And here comes the engine.
And there's all his equipment right on front.
Yes, his fire gear is sitting on the front bumper there. The American flag covering the casket of FAO Darrell Gordon, making their way down 5th and 6th north on the Central. We'll go past the Firefighters Memorial,
which has been really a source of comfort for a lot of people. The memorial that has taken different shapes over the years, refurbished, added to it, and we saw some of the flowers. There was a teddy bear there this week, and they're coming near the memorial as we speak. And you know, I don't know if it's a common phrase with firefighting, you're rushing in as we're rushing out, but that was so poignantly printed handwriting on a card that we saw in front of the memorial. A lot of people stopping by there this week.
Yes, Darrell was a big part of the memorial. Being at the 14th house for years, he took care of that. On Sundays, they would go up and cut the grass and take care of the memorial. So Daryl spent a lot of time keeping that more up and clean. But it's a point, good thing they're going by before. He really enjoyed that memorial.
So close to their firehouse, you know. Easy to get to, easy to help clean up and keep it looking nice.
I'm interested to get your take on the leadership that we saw. I have to say I thought it was phenomenal. From your local union president to the chief. I mean, very compassionate, very caring, very giving. The union hall was open. If firefighters needed someone to talk to, and I would imagine that that's the most difficult part, is just having someone to talk to express your emotions and get it all out.
Very much so. They had that unit office open for everybody to come down. They also did a critical stress debriefing of the members that responded to this incident, so they can talk to people then too, and everybody, it's out there for anybody to use. Because you just have to talk about it.
We're seeing all the uniforms. They may look alike, but there are a lot of people from a lot of different departments. Not only from here, obviously, but from around our Cincinnati suburbs, around the country. We heard this morning there was a contingency from England.
England, yeah, from Manchester, England.
Such an impressive sight to see. It really is.
Yes, very much so.
And I guess that is one of the difficult parts of the job. You never know what's in front of you. You never know what you're going to run into.
Yeah.
I mean, you can't be familiar with every structure that's out there around the city. And, it's what makes what you do so special.
Yes, you don't know what lies in front of you. You know what you have to do to put the fire out. Like you said, every structure is different. How many structures are in the city of Cincinnati? It's unbelievable the number, and you just do your best to do your job.
Let's talk about the significance of the ladders again. Such an amazing sight to see, and then folks at attention, the sheer power of the blue as we see the firefighters marching here in step. Wow, what an amazing picture. What an amazing picture. But the cross letters signifies?
Signifies going into the next life. Leaving the fire department, going into the next life.
And we'll see that outside the cemetery as well.
Yes. I believe Ladder 32 and another one of our ladder trucks is outside the cemetery. Will be set up to do the same thing as he prepares to go into the cemetery.
I would imagine, we talked about what kind of special person Daryl Gordon is, but you have to be a special person to want to be a firefighter. I mean, you don't go into it, as I was saying before about Coach Tuberville, you don't go into this profession to get rich. You go into this profession to serve and serve your community. And that takes a special kind of person. You have to have the right kind of character traits.
Yes.
To want to be that person.
What are some of those traits?
Being, I guess, caring and being a good person and want to serve your community and help people.
Selfless.
Selfless, because you're putting yourself in front of it. You're putting your life out there every day for the citizens of Cincinnati, and just the courage to go in and fight the fire and then come back out and do it again day after day after day.
And to learn. I mean, you must be constantly learning, not only on the job, things you have to keep up on, but every day is a learning experience, I would imagine.
Yes, they drill constantly. They're constantly training, and our training department's always keeping the training up to date for everybody. There's training classes you have to take regularly, and then we go down to the academy several times a year to keep our training up. But each company drills every day, 2 hours a day, just on fire department training.
Daryl did a lot of jobs. He did a lot of jobs over his
yes.
Years with the department, changing things up, learning more always.
Yes. We went from the bomb unit to the heavy rescue, and the heavy rescue he was on that day, different training than the bomb unit.
And the chief mentioned that he was always teaching. He always had somebody pulled up and would be sharing some information. He was obviously a wealth of knowledge because of how long he had been on the force, by sheer years, and obviously his passion for the job.
Yes.
Yeah. Now, was he the chef in the firehouse?
He cooked. Yes, he cooked a lot. Daryl cooked well. Everybody loved him. Daryl cooked. He was on Unit 3 when I traveled down through there, and he was a great cook.
A lot of mouths to feed in the firehouse. You got to cook big.
Yes. Very big. You double, triple your recipes. It's not like cooking for home. Because we eat a lot, too much.
Taking a look at the flag draped casket here, and I know we cover a lot of stories, but you know, Captain, I have to tell you, there are a lot of times there are stories that just stick with you, and the comments that those folks who were rescued made out of that burning building, I mean, they will stay with you, because they said if they hadn't been there for us, me and my son would not be here. Right. And you can see the sheer terror and how thankful they are that they have another day to be around. So, I mean, they may not be saying thank you, but they are saying thank you.
Yes. When she opened her door and nothing but black smoke filled the apartment, and she was very concerned for herself and her child, it's like somebody turns the lights out. You can't see in front of you.
Right.
And then the firemen came in and got her out, and they come through that smoke to rescue her.
Wow.
Some have even recounted actually hearing Daryl's voice telling them to yell louder. We need to know where you are. You know, let us find you, and that it was comforting for them in their panic. You know, at the time, to hear, you know, that strong voice saying, you know, we hear you, keep talking, we're trying to find you, and saved a lot of lives that day.
Because obviously you can't see them, but we can talk loud through our mask with our amplifier on and tell them that we need to hear them. That way you can find the voice in the smoke. You can go towards the voice. Because you can't see the hand in front of your face, but you can hear the voice and go towards that voice. And go around the obstacles to get to that voice.
St. Peter and Chains Cathedral, such an impressive structure. The front steps, we see all the uniforms on the front steps. As the truck has stopped, it looks like they have the ladder platform to bring the casket down. Just a beautiful church. So appropriate that it's at St. Peter and Chains.
Absolutely. The pallbearers will come up and help bring the casket down, and some of the pallbearers will be fellow firefighters, members of his fraternity, Kappa Alpha Psi, as we mentioned, and just a difficult morning, tough morning. It just seems like it was just too soon for a guy with such a big personality and so much to offer to the community. Our hearts, of course, the entire collective hearts go out to his family, his lovely wife and 2 daughters, and we can only, you know, lift them in prayer and support them as they deal with this very difficult day.
And so much pride they must be feeling as well. A lot of pride, I'm sure, for everyone.
Yes. Yes, there is. Pride to be a firefighter.
And Captain, one loss of life is too many, but the good thing is this doesn't happen that often. I mean, when you look at the number of calls that you go on around the country and you add up the sheer totality of it and the sheer number, it doesn't happen that much.
That's correct.
I mean, and that's the good thing. That means the training is working. It means you're good at what you're great at what you do. And most times everyone makes it back home.
That is correct. For the amount of time that they're on the street making runs, most of the time they do make it back to us.
I just loved what Mayor John Cranley, you know, had to say about, you know, everyone made it out, but God decided to keep one back. And that was just so touching. And like you were saying, Mark, the city really got out in front of this and expressed condolences, showed their teamwork, the fire department, the city, the police department, everybody coming together to share the grief, but to share the plan and the focus and the mission to bury one of their own with the utmost respect, and is exactly what they're doing now.